As the sun rose each day, it cast light on a world in turmoil. Earth, once vibrant and full of life, now bore the scars of neglect and pain. Forests that used to sway in harmonious whispers now lay silent, felled by the axe of human greed. Rivers choked with waste meandered sluggishly through lands that once flourished. The air, thick with smog, carried with it the cries of despair from people caught in the grip of conflict. In many corners of the globe, wars raged on, fueled by hatred and a thirst for power. Genocides unfolded in shadowy corners, where entire communities were erased in the pursuit of dominance. Survivors lived in fear, their homes reduced to ashes, their futures uncertain. Nations turned a blind eye as the cries for help echoed across borders, drowned out by political maneuvering and indifference. Nature itself seemed to weep for the lost promises of humanity. Hurricanes grew fiercer, droughts lingered longer, and wildfires erupted with a vengeance, as if Earth was pleading for a reckoning. The connection between humans and their planet grew frayed, a reflection of the discord within. Yet amidst this chaos, a whisper flickered through the air, a call for change. It was a plea from Mother Earth herself, desperate and urgent. As humanity faced its darkest hour, the question lingered, would they heed her call before it was too late? This was the moment when civilization stood on a precipice, teetering between destruction and redemption. As the chaos continued, something profound began to stir deep within the earth. It was as if the planet itself awoke from a long slumber, sensing the immense pain and suffering that humanity had inflicted upon it. This awakening was not merely a geological shift, but a profound realization that Earth possessed its own consciousness, one deeply connected to every living being and creature that thrived upon its surface. With every tree that fell and every river that polluted, Earth felt the weight of despair. It began to respond, sending vibrations through the soil, which resonated with the hearts of those sensitive enough to perceive them. The winds carried whispers of mourning, while storms brewed as manifestations of anger against injustice. Nature's fury was no longer just a reaction, it became a language spoken through thunderous roars and howling gales, demanding attention. In this awakening, Earth's vast ecosystem started to rally together. Animals instinctively sensed the change, gathering in unison as if preparing for an unknown battle. The flora began to adapt in ways unseen before, blooming in vibrant colors even amidst destruction as symbols of resilience. Somewhere deep inside the mountains and valleys, a collective heartbeat echoed, a rhythm that pulsed with urgency, urging humans to listen. As Earth took its stance against the suffering caused by humanity's actions, a powerful message emerged: it would no longer tolerate disrespect nor indifference. This was a moment of reckoning where balance could be restored if only humanity would open its eyes and respond. As Earth continued to awaken, its message of distress grew louder and more urgent. The skies darkened with ominous clouds, unleashing torrential rains that flooded cities and devastated homes. Each deluge was not just a weather event, it was a clear call for action, warning humanity of the consequences of their neglect. As rivers overflowed and landscapes turned into swamps, the chaos unveiled a truth long buried beneath indifference. Simultaneously, other regions became parched, suffering from severe droughts that cracked the Earth's surface like a broken mirror. Crop failures led to food shortages, causing unrest among communities already strained by conflict. This stark contrast emphasized Earth's plea: sustainable living mattered now more than ever. Earth responded with seismic rumbles in places where humans pushed limits too far. Earthquakes shattered foundations of cities built without respect for nature's rhythms. The ground trembled as if echoing the heartbeat of an angry world demanding recognition, a cry that could no longer be ignored. Volcanic eruptions spewed ash high into the sky, creating dark clouds that blocked out sunlight and created eerie twilight in places where life once thrived. These events were not random occurrences, they were Earth's way of communicating calamity as a reaction to humanity's choices. Meanwhile, wildfires raged through forests like vengeful spirits consuming all in their path. The flames illuminated the night sky, casting shadows on human struggles while reminding them of their dependence on the very planet they had harmed. From the depths of oceans to the heights of mountains, Earth's distress rang clear: change was imperative, and time was running out for humanity to heed this call for action. In the wake of Earth's distress signals, a remarkable alliance began to form among nature's inhabitants. As the storms howled and fires blazed, creatures large and small sensed the urgency of their home's plight. Whales gathered in pods, singing haunting melodies that echoed through ocean depths, calling upon fellow marine life to unite for a common cause. Schools of fish swam in synchronized patterns, creating shapes in the water that served as signals to one another, reminders that they were all part of a greater ecosystem under threat. On land, animals from every corner of the globe sensed the changing tides. Elephants trumpeted in solidarity, using their strength to protect dwindling habitats. Birds migrated in large flocks, spreading awareness across vast distances about the dangers humanity posed. Even insects joined the cause, bees buzzed around blooming flowers, pollinating life to ensure that ecosystems could thrive once more. The trees themselves seemed to communicate through their roots, sharing nutrients and support with one another like guardians of the forest. In this newfound unity, nature showed resilience. Mosses blanketed areas scorched by fire, while wildflowers pushed through cracked earth where drought had taken its toll. As these allies rallied together under Earth's call for action, something extraordinary happened. A powerful energy surged through them all, a determination to protect their planet and restore balance. This alliance was not merely about survival, it was a mission fueled by hope and a shared belief that change was possible if they stood together against destruction. The turning point arrived one fateful evening when a catastrophic event shook the very foundations of society. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a series of violent tremors erupted, signaling the fury of a planet pushed to its limits. The ground quaked with unprecedented intensity, causing buildings to sway and crumble like houses of cards. Families fled into the streets, panic spreading like wildfire as they realized this was no ordinary earthquake, it was a reckoning. Just as chaos unfolded, nature added to the spectacle with a fierce storm that rolled in from the ocean. Thunder roared, and lightning sliced through the darkened sky, illuminating frightened faces below. Torrential rain poured down, overwhelming drainage systems and flooding nearby neighborhoods. The combination of earth and sky unleashed a relentless display of power that left no doubt in anyone's mind. Earth was sending an unmistakable message. Witnesses reported seeing animals fleeing from the forests and fields, seeking shelter as if they understood the danger posed by humanity's actions. Their flight served as a stark reminder that even nature's inhabitants recognized the urgency of change. In that moment of turmoil, something shifted within humanity. People stood together, looking up at the ominous skies and down at their trembling ground. Fear transformed into resolve as they confronted their reality. This was not just a wake-up call, it was an urgent plea for action. Collective discussions echoed in homes and public spaces, igniting conversations about sustainability and respect for nature. It became clear, change was not just necessary, it was imperative for their survival and the survival of all life on Earth. In the aftermath of Earth's powerful response, humanity stood at a crossroads. Across the globe, reactions varied widely. While some individuals and communities rallied together in unity, others clung to old habits and resisted change. In cities transformed by natural disasters, groups emerged, determined to restore balance between humanity and nature. Activists organized peaceful protests, carrying signs that echoed the urgent call for action. They implored their fellow citizens to take responsibility for the environment and stand against genocide, believing that a united front could help heal both the planet and its people. Conversely, not everyone was ready to embrace this new mindset. Some factions dismissed the warnings as mere coincidences, they continued to prioritize power and profit over sustainability. Driven by greed, these groups sought to maximize their control, leading to further exploitation of natural resources and deepening divides among communities already under stress. Their resistance sparked anger and frustration in those who recognized the necessity for urgent change. Yet amid the conflict, moments of connection began to flourish. In small towns, individuals started community gardens, working together to reclaim their relationship with food and nature. These initiatives fostered discussions about equality, standing up against violence in all forms, including genocide. By sharing stories of hope and survival, they nurtured a growing movement focused on compassion. Ultimately, humanity's response became a tapestry of struggle and resilience, where the actions of some inspired many. As people united to heed Earth's call for action, they embarked on a journey toward a more harmonious existence with each other and with the world around them. As communities began to recognize the urgent need for change, leaders from various backgrounds came together to develop innovative strategies aimed at addressing both genocide and environmental issues. One prominent initiative involved establishing regional coalitions dedicated to education and awareness. These coalitions organized workshops and community forums that brought together diverse groups to discuss the links between environmental degradation and social injustices, emphasizing that both could be tackled through cooperative efforts. In a small coastal town, activists collaborated with scientists and local fishermen to create sustainable fishing practices that preserved marine life while supporting the economy. They established protected areas that allowed fish populations to recover, creating a model for other coastal communities to follow. This partnership not only benefited the ecosystem but also fostered a sense of stewardship among those who depended on the sea for their livelihood. Meanwhile, in urban areas recovering from disaster, grassroots movements sprang up to repurpose vacant lots into thriving community gardens, providing both food security and spaces for dialogue about social issues. Local chefs joined forces with farmers to host dinner dialogues, where meals made from community-grown produce served as a backdrop for discussions on equality and justice. Additionally, youth-led initiatives blossomed in schools across the country, where students created projects that highlighted the experiences of marginalized groups affected by genocide. These projects utilized art, storytelling, and technology to amplify voices that had been silenced, igniting passion among peers to advocate for change. Through these collaborative efforts, communities began building a tapestry of hope woven from resilience, innovation, and shared purpose, each action contributing to a larger movement aimed at restoring balance within society and the environment. Despite the growing momentum for change, those fighting against genocide and environmental harm faced numerous obstacles that threatened to undermine their efforts. Political resistance emerged as a significant barrier, with leaders and lawmakers often prioritizing profits over progress. Many politicians denied the urgency of the crises or outright dismissed scientific evidence linking environmental degradation to social injustice, opting instead to maintain the status quo that benefited their interests. Misinformation also spread like wildfire, with powerful media outlets propagating distorted narratives that downplayed the severity of genocide and environmental issues. This led to public confusion and apathy, making it difficult for activists to galvanize support. Many individuals remained unaware of the connections between their daily choices and the larger crises at play, complicating efforts to educate and mobilize communities. Internal conflicts within communities further complicated matters. While some groups sought to unify against a common enemy, others struggled with differing priorities and values. Debates about how best to address these issues sometimes devolved into divisions, weakening collective action. Distrust among community members made collaboration challenging, old grievances resurfaced at inopportune moments, overshadowing shared goals. Additionally, activists frequently encountered threats from those who felt threatened by their calls for change, ranging from harassment to physical intimidation. Despite these formidable challenges, unwavering determination sparked inventive solutions, as advocates learned to navigate political landscapes and foster collaboration amidst discord. They began focusing on building coalitions that emphasized mutual respect while addressing the critical issues at hand, proving that resilience could flourish even in adversity. As the movement to combat genocide and environmental degradation progressed, moments of triumph and setbacks defined the journey. One significant success occurred when a coalition of activists successfully lobbied for new legislation aimed at protecting endangered species and their habitats. This victory energized communities and showcased the power of unified voices advocating for change. Celebrations erupted in neighborhoods once plagued by despair, as people began to believe that their collective efforts could lead to meaningful progress. However, not all moments were filled with hope. In another region, a planned peaceful protest against an impending eviction of marginalized families was met with violent opposition from local authorities. The clash resulted in injuries and arrests, shattering the spirits of many who had invested time and energy into the cause. This setback highlighted the harsh reality that societal change often encounters resistance, leaving activists grappling with feelings of helplessness. Yet even in times of despair, small victories emerged. A grassroots initiative to educate youth about environmental stewardship saw participation soar among schools, igniting a passion for nature that transcended socio-economic boundaries. These young advocates became ambassadors for change within their communities, spreading awareness and inspiring older generations through their enthusiasm. Amidst these experiences, both successes and setbacks reflected the complexity of human nature. The struggle against genocide and environmental harm revealed divisions grounded in fear, apathy, and historical grudges, but also illuminated remarkable resilience, compassion, and solidarity among those committed to forging a better world. Each key moment, whether uplifting or disheartening, contributed to a deeper understanding that lasting change requires perseverance amidst uncertainty. As the dust began to settle on the tumultuous path humanity had traversed, a profound truth emerged: coexistence between humans and Earth is not just essential but vital for survival. Throughout this journey, the struggles and victories underscored an undeniable connection between all living beings, revealing that respect for every life form is the cornerstone of lasting peace. The pivotal moments of realization illustrated that the health of our planet directly affects the well-being of humanity and vice versa. When communities acknowledged their role as stewards of the Earth, they fostered an environment where compassion flourished. This shared understanding paved the way for collaborative efforts that transcend divides, uniting diverse voices in a common cause to protect both human rights and the environment. Out of chaos sprang hope, reminding everyone that healing requires dedication and a collective commitment to nurturing this fragile world. Embracing sustainable practices and advocating for the rights of marginalized communities became intertwined, each cause amplified the other. The road ahead may still be fraught with challenges. Still, it is clear that through cooperation and empathy, humanity can forge a new path, one founded on honor and reverence for Earth's gifts. As individuals work toward restoring balance, their stories will serve as powerful reminders that peace is not merely an absence of conflict but a harmonious relationship with all life forms. In this intricate dance of existence, humanity has a choice: to protect and cherish the environment or to continue down a path of destruction. The lessons learned from this journey resonate as a clarion call for action, an invitation to care for our planet and ensure a future where both Earth and its inhabitants can thrive together.